EU power under siege. The Mogherini arrest exposes a system built on untouchable privilege. Brussels, December 2, 2025. For years, the European Union has projected itself as the world's ethical superpower, a bastion of transparency, rule of law, and democratic discipline. That polished facade cracked violently this week when Belgian police, supported by the European Public Prosecutor's Office (EPPO) and the EU Anti-Fraud Office (OLAF), raided the headquarters of the European External Action Service (ES) and the prestigious College of Europe in Bruges. By midday, 3 individuals had been detained, among them Federica Mogherini, former EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and current Rector of the College of Europe. It is the most significant corruption probe to strike the EU's diplomatic corps in its history. A tender designed to fail the public. At the center of the investigation is the 2021-2022 European Union Diplomatic Academy, a taxpayer-funded training program for junior diplomats. According to prosecutors, the tendering process was compromised before it even began. Confidential information about the tender was allegedly shared with College of Europe insiders prior to publication. This would constitute procurement fraud, abuse of office, conflict of interest, and violation of professional secrecy. The College of Europe, led by Mogherini, ultimately won the contract. Investigators suspect that what was presented to the public as a competitive, merit-based process may instead have been a carefully engineered outcome, benefiting a single institution with unprecedented access. Meanwhile, competing institutions across Europe, universities, diplomatic schools, and policy centers, operated under the assumption of fair competition. They were never given one. A blow to the heart of the EU's diplomatic machinery. The raids on ES headquarters in Brussels mark an extraordinary moment. The ES is the EU's foreign policy nerve center, the institution that lectures authoritarian regimes on transparency, ethics, and rule-based governance. The fact that its senior officials are now directly implicated in a criminal inquiry threatens the legitimacy of the entire European diplomatic structure. Sources inside the ES describe a climate of panic and disbelief, with staff instructed to surrender phones and computers as investigators sealed offices and downloaded internal communication archives. A senior insider, speaking anonymously, told this newspaper, "We've known for years there were informal networks that shaped hiring and procurement. But no one expected this level of exposure, or this level of involvement. Systemic, not isolated. This scandal is not an isolated fire. It is smoke rising from a system that many EU insiders have long described as opaque, self-protective, and deeply unequal." 1. Elite gatekeeping. The College of Europe has long been seen as the finishing school of the EU elite, a pipeline into Brussels institutions, policy think tanks, and diplomatic careers. The arrest of its rector raises uncomfortable questions. Did the EU's diplomatic class create a closed circuit where funds, opportunities, and influence circulate only among the already privileged? 2. Tender manipulation is not new. EU procurement has faced repeated criticism from auditors for non-competitive bidding, prearranged contracts, conflicts of interest ignored or administratively resolved, lack of transparency. This case is simply the first time the system has cracked wide open in public. 3. The EU's moral authority is eroding. The EU positions itself as a guardian of global ethics, demanding accountability abroad while shielding its own institutions at home. Now, with a former top diplomat detained and its foreign policy HQ raided, the bloc risks losing the one thing it has always traded on: moral legitimacy. The political aftershocks. This investigation has detonated a political bomb across Europe. Members of the European Parliament have already demanded an independent audit of all ES tenders from the past decade. Anti-establishment parties are framing the scandal as proof that Brussels is run by a caste of untouchables. Governments in Eastern Europe, long accused of corruption by Brussels, are using this moment to claim double standards. With elections approaching, the timing could not be worse for the EU. What comes next? If evidence confirms the allegations, this will not be a cleanup of bad apples. It will expose how procurement, recruitment, and influence inside EU institutions have been shaped not by meritocracy, but by networks, loyalty, and access. The investigation is likely to expand to email archives between ES officials and College of Europe administrators, financial flows connected to the Diplomatic Academy project, past tenders awarded under Mogherini's leadership, internal membership networks linking EU bureaucrats with private institutions. Sources in EPPO say that more arrests may follow. Europe's reckoning. This scandal forces the EU to confront an uncomfortable truth. Behind the architecture of treaties, institutions, and declarations lies a system that, at times, resembles exactly what it condemns: a protected oligarchy. European citizens are told to trust in Brussels, to believe that their money funds opportunity, to believe that the system works. But if the accusations stand, the system worked only for those who already held the keys. This moment will be remembered as either the beginning of Europe's institutional reckoning, or just another scandal buried by bureaucracy, silence, and time. The next steps will determine which